welcome back. Today I'll be looking at the adventure of Link. This game takes place directly after Legend of Zelda. Link is tasked with finding the Triforce of Courage and reviving a different Princess Zelda from the first game from a spell cast upon her many years ago. While on this quest, Ganon's minions are attempting to resurrect their master with the blood of the fallen hero. With that being said, let's take a look at where the Adventure of Link map falls within the Breath of the Wild map. The Adventure of Link map is the largest incarnation of the Legend of Zelda maps to date. With 4 land masses to explore, this map technically is bigger than Breath of the Wild. Unfortunately, we will only be looking at the western portion of the map. The eastern continent and Maze Island will not be a part of this video. I believe that the location of the Adventure of Link map can be placed over the entire map of Breath of the Wild. By doing so, you cover the placement of the Adventure of Link, but also help to cement the location of A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, Legend of Zelda, and 4 Sword Adventures, which I talked about in my previous video. So let's take a look at the comparison and see why the Adventure of Link covers all of Breath of the Wild. Looking at the overall shape of both the Adventure of Link map and the Breath of the Wild map, you can see that both have sort of a squared shape that has an eastern and southern coastline. You can also see that both locations have a small island called Eventide in Breath of the Wild off the southeast coast. The shape of the kingdoms in both games, and even the small island off the coast, are the biggest indications that these are the same location. There are discrepancies between the two, and I will go over them now. I know that many of the key landmarks, like Lake Hylia, Death Mountain, or Zora's Domain, are not in the Adventure of Link map. The real-world answer is the game was the second one made, and did not have all of the iconic locations fleshed out at this time. However, if we consider different theories and lore within the various games, it is quite possible to explain their absence. Lake Hylia could have been flooded by an increasing sea, Death Mountain could have gone dormant during this time, and the Zoras had long abandoned their domain, and the area surrounding it has been developed for other uses. Though these are just theories about the landmarks, it does not negate the overall shape of both maps. Next, the biggest challenge for this map is the placement of the mountainous region in the southwest. This area starts south of Saria Town and ends just south of the Legend of Zelda map. Yes, the Legend of Zelda map, as well as A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, and 4 Swords Adventure are located in the extreme south of Hyrule. The only problem in lining up this area in the Adventure of Link with Breath of the Wild is the length of the mountain range compared to Breath of the Wild. Well, there is a solution to this problem. First, the length of the mountainous area is due to the system limitations of the NES. The system could not show height, yet this is clearly a mountain range. Looking at the Gerudo Highlands, we see the area rises extremely high into the sky in Breath of the Wild. I believe that the mountainous region in the Adventure of Link is the Gerudo Highlands flattened out to put it on a map on the NES. So, by compressing the area, you can see the Gerudo Highlands in this area. Also, the angle of the Legend of Zelda map to the rest of Hyrule in the Adventure of Link is a problem with the alignment with Breath of the Wild. This goes back to the Breath of the Wild map being an accurate digital map vice a drawn map. If I were to slightly rotate the compressed Gerudo Highlands in the Legend of Zelda map, again, I hate doing this, but it is the only way to resolve the issue, the area lines up with the other 4 games from my previous video. By tweaking this area of the Adventure of Link map, again due to system limitations of the NES, you can see the Breath of the Wild map start to take shape in an 8-bit world. I would also venture to point out that the North Castle in the Adventure of Link could be what was Hyrule Castle at some point, but has now been reduced to a lesser status or is not the main castle in Hyrule anymore. When the maps of the Adventure of Link and Breath of the Wild are overlaid, the North Castle and Hyrule Castle do line up fairly well with each other. Based on this information, I believe that the Adventure of Link map encompasses all versions of Hyrule that we see in every game within the Zelda franchise. Since the Adventure of Link covers all of Breath of the Wild, all the other maps researched are within the Adventure of Link as well. The large northern portion would encompass the Unified and Child timelines, while the lower region of Hyrule, which was once the Gerudo Desert before the Imprisoning War, became a new Hyrule covering the Downfall timeline. Though some areas in the Adventure of Link are different than in Breath of the Wild, I believe that the overall shape and geography make it clear that the Adventure of Link and Breath of the Wild are the same map. Again, if there is anything I missed, please let me know, and thanks for watching. I will continue the series with the Wind Waker in my next video.